Let's not talk about the outlook. Let's talk about rates right now. Where are rates today compared to where have they been before COVID? First question to you, Dimitri. Can you elaborate on the rate situation, since this was voted as #1 concern for the audience?
Well, thank you. I think it's a great question, and I think that's actually requires to have an answer for that. And the pure and simple answer that the rates are actually rising up, because as I said, the demand is there, the supply is not there yet. And we actually saw that by the freight indexes. So the maximum was reached in May this year. For example, from the lane from Asia to Europe, where the most of the automotive flows is going. So we see that, say, a couple years ago, it will be the rate will be 1.7, 1.8 US dollars per kilo, but during the May, it's actually reached more than $5. And as we speak, so we actually saw that the rates declined a little bit during the summer season. However, September, October, November is traditionally a high season for airlines, because everybody's looking for the ways to deliver their presents before the Christmas. So we see a lot of the electronics launches, new products want to be make sure that they are delivered in time and delivered to a proper destination. And we see that the customers is actually buying out capacity massively. That's actually making capacity more scarce, and that's why it's actually driving the prices even more high. So as we speak, the pricing from Asia to Europe is reaching up to $8, and that's not a limit, because we see the analysis forecast from the international digital platforms. They see that the growth is actually going with double digits. So that's not the limit. And to make things worse is actually, as Martin also mentioned, is that we still see some of the cases of the COVID. So, for example, it has a huge influence into the overall airport operations. So we see the other day that it was several cases in Shanghai airport. So basically all freighters stopped to operate to Shanghai. And in order to somehow save the situation, airport actually restrict to fly any freighters there. That's why only all cargo aircrafts flew there with a very limited amount because of the backlog. And the freight started to be distributed throughout the China, which makes situation, I think, in a more sadder way.
Over to you, Martin. Overall, the situation with regards to rates in the global sea freight market, how has this developed over the last 18, 12 months compared to today?
Yes. Of course, a tender season for next year is only starting right now. Yes, a very soft start. So we know more in October, November, but rates can be expected on a historical high, also the long-term rates. And of course, Achim, we should not forget, we always talk about the ocean freight, but at the same time, the US inland charges, for example, and the trucking charges around the globe have increased tremendously by a shortage of truck driver, shortage of equipment. And this we also need to consider, that there we have very high cost increases when we talk, for example, on transatlantic. And at the same time, we also touched the topic equipment shortage. So this means in return that a carrier will be far more restrictive again with the free times. So whenever you have extended need of the equipment, yes, you also have to pay for this. So for overall, costs will increase heavily.
Okay, but how were the costs before COVID and how are the costs now? Standard box on the Trans-Pacific, for example, or take whatever trade lane you like.
Let's say on transatlantic is to give you a number. Yes, only the ocean part ×4, ×5. Yes, compared to the good times and what can be expected. But this is at this stage a rough estimate, because what I would also like to point out, the old process which some companies had to really separate the procurement and the logistics might not work out, and to go over 6 tender rounds and to press the price. Yes, you must be really ensure that the carrier you choose, the supplier you are choosing can provide you with the equipment, with the space. So we also need to think in different directions because of all the hiccups in the supply chain we mentioned earlier.